Today I want to mess with one belief that quietly stresses people out. And if you've ever felt like life is testing you, like the universe is throwing obstacles at you to see if you're worthy, I'm going to try to change your mind in the next 15 minutes. Because by the end of this, you're going to be able to spot the difference between a bad luck moment and a pattern. You're going to understand why certain situations keep repeating in your relationships, your confidence, your money, your peace, whatever it is for you. And you'll have a simple way to flip the signal you're sending without forcing fake positivity or doing a million rituals. So yeah, this is one of those talks where you might pause halfway and go, "Oh, that's what's been happening." And if you stick with me, I want you to leave with one sentence you can say when life spirals, and one small move you can make today that starts changing the reflection. Alright, look, let's talk about something that messes with a lot of people, even if they don't say it out loud. When life gets weird, or heavy, or disappointing, it's very, very easy to fall into this story that the universe is basically running you through some kind of obstacle course like, "Okay, let's see if you really deserve what you want." And honestly, that story makes sense at first, because it gives the chaos a meaning, right? It makes it feel like there's a reason for the pain, like it's leading somewhere, like you're not just dealing with random stuff for no reason. But here's the thing I want you to consider, and I want you to hear it in a way that doesn't make you feel blamed, because that's not what this is. The universe doesn't test you, it reflects you. And before your brain jumps in with, "So you're saying everything is my fault?" No, not that, not at all. This is about patterns, not punishment. Blame makes you feel trapped, like you did something wrong and now you're stuck. But patterns are different. Patterns are basically information. And information is something you can actually work with. When I say life reflects you, I'm not saying you can just start to think happy thoughts and control reality like a remote control. That's not how life works. What I mean is, your beliefs, expectations, and emotional default settings shape how you move through the world, what you tolerate, what you notice, how you react, who you choose, what you accept, what you avoid, how you speak, how you ask, how you settle. And all of that adds up over time into a life that starts to look suspiciously like what you've been expecting. So yeah, it can feel like the universe keeps sending me the same lesson. But a lot of times it's not a cosmic lesson, it's a loop. And loops don't break because you pass. Loops break because you become aware, and then you start choosing differently. Let's say, deep down, you have this belief that people don't really take you seriously. You might not say it, you might not even admit it to yourself, but it shows up in how you communicate. So you soften your voice, you add disclaimers, you over-explain, you ask for permission too much. You give people an out before you even make your point. And what happens? People interrupt you. They don't prioritize you. They kind of brush past you. And then your brain goes, "See, the universe is testing me. People never respect me." But what's actually happening is the world is reflecting a signal. But if it's a signal, the best part is you can actually change it. If you stand in front of a mirror and make a face, the mirror makes the same face back. The mirror isn't mad at you. The mirror isn't testing you. The mirror isn't like, "Prove you're worthy of a better reflection." It's just showing you what's there. So if you're walking into life expecting rejection, you're going to protect yourself from rejection in a way that often creates distance, which then produces the exact outcome you were afraid of. And now your fear feels confirmed. That's the loop. And by the way, this happens to smart people all the time. This isn't about intelligence. It's about nervous system habits and old stories. Let's clean this up, because this is where people get it twisted and it becomes toxic. You did not attract trauma. You did not manifest abuse. You are not responsible for other people's choices. Period. What we're talking about is different. The ways your expectations and self-concept can quietly steer you into familiar dynamics, and how becoming aware of that gives you back power. Because there's a huge difference between everything is my fault, that shame, and some things are patterns I can change. That's freedom. Pick one area of your life that's frustrating right now. Relationships, money, work, confidence, peace, motivation, direction, whatever. Now ask yourself something really specific. What do I expect here when I'm not trying to be positive? Not what you hope, not what you affirm, not what you write in your notes app. What do you actually expect? Do you expect people to leave? Do you expect it to be hard? Do you expect it to not work out? Do you expect you'll have to do it alone? Do you expect you'll finally feel safe after something changes? Because if that's your expectation, your body is going to live as if that's true. And you'll make choices from that place, and then life reflects it. All right, so let me give you a few really real examples. There are certain thoughts people carry that feel harmless, almost normal, but they quietly shape everything. Like the belief, I always have to prove myself. If that's running in the background, you don't just work hard, you overwork. You over-deliver. You explain yourself more than you need to. You train people without meaning to expect that level from you. And then, at some point, you're exhausted, you're resentful, and it feels like life just keeps asking more and more from you, like it's never enough. But it's not a test. It's a reflection of a belief that says, my value comes from effort. Or take this one, which a lot of people don't notice until it really stings. I'm not a priority. When that belief is there, you start accepting last-minute plans, mixed signals, half-effort relationships, because part of you is just grateful to be included at all. And then, almost on cue, you get exactly that experience. You feel overlooked, optional, easy to postpone, and it hurts because it feels like proof. But again, it's not a test. It's life mirroring what you quietly expect to be true. And then there's the big one people say half jokingly, but actually mean. Things never work out for me. If that's your baseline, you don't fully commit. You start late. You keep one foot out. You protect yourself from disappointment before it even happens. And then when it doesn't work out, there's that familiar feeling of, yep, I knew it. Not because you were cursed. Not because the universe decided to mess with you, but because the reflection stayed consistent. And this is where I want you to pause for a second, because this part matters. If it's a reflection, not a test, that means you don't need to pass anything. You just need to notice what's being reflected. Now here's where people usually get stuck, because they think, okay, so I just need better thoughts, right? And they start yelling affirmations at themselves while their body is still tense, still bracing, still expecting the same outcome. And that doesn't work. It actually makes things worse. What does work is quieter than that. You change the reflection by changing the signals you're sending, not in a dramatic way, in small, grounded, almost boring ways. Because your life isn't built on what you hope for once in a while. It's built on what you practice every day without thinking about it. So instead of trying to overhaul everything, here's a much simpler approach. And stay with me, because this is the part you can actually use. First, you name the pattern, honestly. Not emotionally, just factually. This keeps happening. Same dynamic, same ending, different details. Then you ask yourself something that might feel uncomfortable at first, but is incredibly freeing. If I'm honest, what do I expect here? Not what you want, what you expect when no one's watching. And then, and this is the key, you do one small thing as if you expected something better. Not perfectly, just once. One decision, one boundary, one response that matches the version of you who believes the outcome can actually go right. Because that's how identity shifts, not through motivation, through repetition. Let me make this really concrete. Say you carry the belief, I always get abandoned. If that's there, you might cling, overthink, people please, or shut down emotionally, all in an attempt to protect yourself from the pain you expect. And ironically, those strategies create unstable relationships, which then feel like confirmation. But when someone starts living from a different belief, something like, I am chosen, I am safe, I don't chase, their behavior changes without them forcing it. They communicate more clearly. They set boundaries earlier. They stop accepting crumbs. And the interesting thing is, people either rise to meet that or they fall away. And either way, life gets cleaner, quieter, more aligned. That's a reflection shift. And before you think this means you have to be fearless or confident all the time, let me slow this down for a second. You don't need to erase fear. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to stop letting old expectations run the show automatically. That's why affirmations can help, but only the believable ones, not the fake, overly shiny ones, the kind that don't argue with your nervous system. Things like, I'm not being tested, I'm being shown what needs to change. Or, I don't need to chase what's meant for me. Or, my life responds to what I practice consistently. Or this one, which is bigger than it sounds. I stop calling it fate when it's actually a pattern. Because the moment you see a pattern as a pattern, you're no longer powerless. And if you're in a heavy season right now, I really want you to hear this part, because it's easy to misinterpret what's happening. Difficulty doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean the universe turned against you. Sometimes it just means you're outgrowing an old version of yourself, and that in-between space always feels uncomfortable, because you can't fully go back, but you also haven't fully arrived yet. So if things feel messy, don't rush to label it as doom. Sometimes the mess is evidence that something is actually shifting. And that's why I don't think the universe is testing you. I think life is reflecting you. And that's not scary, because reflection isn't judgment, it's information. And once you treat your experience like information instead of punishment, you stop spiraling. You start adjusting. You make different choices. And slowly, almost quietly, your reality starts rearranging itself around the new version of you. So just for today, don't try to change everything. Just change one signal, one boundary, one honest conversation, one decision you've been avoiding, one moment where you choose yourself instead of the familiar pattern. And let life reflect that, because it will.